Go Dogs on Demand at halftime for the University of Georgia and UAB. So Georgia winning, leading so far in this ball game, 28-14. But I got a sneaking suspicion that I don't know. Maybe some Georgia fans are not really exactly happy with the performance so far for the University of Georgia. The anticipation, of course, is that Georgia is going to blow a team like UAB out. That has been the norm for the past for the University of Georgia. But this game, just I don't know. What do you think about Georgia and its performance in the first half against UAB? A little disconcerting, a little concerning. Let's check some of the stats for the first half. Carson Beck, 18 of rather of 26 for 264 yards, 2 touchdowns. Dejon Edwards, he has 7 carries, 35 yards, 2 touchdowns. Brock Bowers, 6 receptions, 97 yards, and 1 touchdown. Zeno, the quarterback for UAB, 15 of 22, 108 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Zeno also has 6 carries for 18 yards as far as rushing is concerned. And Thomas for UAB having a fantastic first half, 7 receptions, 49 yards, and a touchdown. Georgia has 18 first downs in the first half, total 322 yards. UAB has a total of 163 yards. Georgia has 264 yards passing. UAB has 108 yards passing. Georgia has 58 yards rushing, and UAB has 55 yards rushing, and each team has a turnover. Georgia had a fumble and lost a fumble. UAB had an interception and, of course, lost that interception to Georgia. So, what do you think here in the first half? Georgia 28 and the UAB 14. Now, normally when your team is up 14 points at halftime, you feel good. Okay, we're good. Everything seemed to be, kind of doing okay until that last drive by UAB. I just, you don't see that against the defense of the University of Georgia. At least you haven't seen that, in the past couple of years. So, there's some concerns here, and we got some guys checking in with us. Bobo's got to go. That's one thing. Too many drop passes, which is true. I mean, oh boy, right in the hands. And of course, I could never catch a ball like that. So who am I to be critical of somebody? But I'm not out there playing for the University of Georgia. I'm not a recruited wide receiver. Some of we've had too many drop passes. Everything seems out of sync. Mike Oliver says, and I agree with that completely. Um, let's say still a lot of timing on routes to learn. The defense needs to tighten up on the reads, playing lackadaisical at times, and I agree with that. So Georgia, it's you think about this game, Georgia should win this game, and probably the percentage of the fact is that Georgia will win this game over UAB. Obviously, Georgia, the more talented team, and unless something just really weird and wild happens, then Georgia's going to win this game. But it is concerning as you look forward to the schedule, because next Saturday, and not counting our chickens before they hatch, but next Saturday, Georgia's got to travel to Auburn on the Plains. Now Auburn lost today to Texas A&M, but that place is going to be wild next Saturday, and it kind of makes you wonder. Okay, Georgia's the number one team in the country. In almost all the polls, the number one team in the country. But you got to ask yourself, are they playing like the number one team in the country? And then when you look across college football, of course, and you see just all of the games around college football, you got to say, well, who's playing better than Georgia? Some teams appear to be playing better than Georgia. I don't know. It's just kind of a disconcerting kind of thing. But let's all remember back in the day when Stetson Bennett was the quarterback, and we all kept wondering, why is he the quarterback? And that kind of thing. And so, but now, we're in the fourth game of the season, and you would think by now that some of these issues, okay, would be settling down at least. but I don't know. Josh says certainly not playing like the number one team in the country, and I'm not really, not right now. Don. I agree with you. I just it's a little disconcerting. Now, so Georgia, UAB will get the ball first in the second half. The defense, I mean, 14 points to UAB. Who saw that coming? 14 points in the first half. UAB looked very good in that drive to end the first half. I don't know. We'll see how it goes, but Georgia, most probably Georgia's going to win this game. You would think, unless something weird happens. But how does this bode for the future? Because you travel to Auburn, then you got Kentucky coming in. You play Vanderbilt, and yeah, listen, any game in the SEC, especially a road game, and Georgia will be on the road against Vanderbilt. I mean, it's a thing. And then you got Florida on at the end of October. So, okay, so go get them Bulldogs. What do you think about this first half? What is your opinion? What do we need? What needs to happen for Georgia? What is your complaint? Zip us a comment, and we'll take it under advisement. And now in some other games, let's see, LSU and Arkansas surprisingly locked up in a pretty good battle in the third quarter. LSU is beating Arkansas 17-16. Kind of interesting. Let's see. Florida is winning over Charlotte in kind of a surprisingly close game. Florida 19, Charlotte 7. That's in the fourth quarter, or in the third quarter, rather, with about 3 minutes left in the third quarter. Washington State is beating Oregon State 28-14. Those are two ranked teams. Just going down the line here, Penn State is beating Iowa. Those are two ranked teams. Notre Dame and Ohio State, kind of interesting. In the third quarter, Ohio State is leading and winning this game 3-0 over Notre Dame. And now some of you guys may have turned over to that game at halftime here for Georgia and UAB. But wow, 3-0 in the third quarter. Defensive battle going on with Ohio State and Notre Dame. Texas is pretty well handling Baylor 28-6. Let's see. Kansas State winning over Central Florida. North Carolina 21-17 lead over Pittsburgh. Texas A&M beat Auburn today 27-10. Florida State beat Clemson in overtime 31-24. So Florida State kind of holds serve. They're the fourth ranked team in the country. Michigan took out Rutgers today, 31-7. Oklahoma beat Cincinnati by a score of 20-6. Again, Kentucky beat Vanderbilt today, 45-28. Just going down to Oregon, kind of, put some air out of the balloon of Colorado, 42-6. Dan Lanning, by the way, of course, formerly the offensive coordinator for the University of Georgia before he became the head coach at Colorado. Dan Lanning showed some, moxie today in the pregame speech with his team before they took on Colorado. He kind of took it to Deion Sanders in Colorado, talking to his team. And then at halftime, Dan Lanning was into that thing today. And I got to tell you, Oregon looks pretty good. Oregon's 4-0. They're the 10th ranked team in the country. And I don't know. I would not sleep on Oregon. And Bo Nix had a good game today. Kind of shut and the defense of Oregon kind of shut down Sanders, quarterback Sanders for Colorado, Shadur. So Oregon winning today 42-6. Nebraska beating Louisiana Tech. Duke, 18th ranked team in the country, beating UConn pretty handily, 41-7. Alabama beat Ole Miss today, 24-10. Not really a surprise. Ole Miss, 15th ranked team in the country. Alabama, 13th ranked team in the country. Alabama kind of outplayed Ole Miss. So there you go. Let's see. What else do we have here? Tennessee winning over University of Texas at San Antonio today, 45-14. So Tennessee wins. Just going down the line. Georgia State winning over Eastern Carolina. So, what do you think about this first half? Why are we still soul searching? Amy wants to know. I don't know. Here's the thing, Amy. When it comes to when you've been successful as Georgia has been over the last 2 seasons, when you've won back-to-back national championships, you just get kind of spoiled to the fact that Georgia can play a team like UAB and just blow them out. You know, and so when that doesn't happen, it kind of makes you say, okay, what's happening? Are we good? Are we not good? Or are we not as we're good, but are we as not as good as we may think we are, or other people are saying that we are? So yeah, we're still soul searching and trying to find out what this team is all about. So Georgia will come back now. UAB will have the ball the first and the second half. Now, if UAB goes down and scores at the beginning of the second half, then ugh. Well, we certainly, Georgia fans certainly do not want that to happen. UAB, Trent Dilfer, coach of UAB, of course, won a Super Bowl in the professional ranks. Actually, he was coaching, kind of interesting, before he went to UAB. He was coaching in high school in Tennessee. He led the team that he was coaching in high school to two state championships. He's a good coach. Trent Dilfer is. And obviously a great player, Super Bowl winner. And he's got UAB playing very well. Now, UAB comes into the game. They lost last week to Louisiana. They lost the week before to somebody. I forget who exactly they lost to, Georgia Southern. So the UAB comes into the game with a 1-2 record. They beat North Carolina A&T in week 1, but they've lost the last 2 weeks. But here they come into Georgia, and they're playing with a lot of confidence, and they have some skilled players. Georgia has some injuries, and that's not really helping a lot. In the with the running backs and on the offensive line, Georgia has some injuries. But Georgia's defense just, you want to shut down defense, and you would think that Georgia would be able to take care of business defensively against a team like UAB, the Blazers. Hey, but these guys believe. I think after the first quarter, after the first plays, they feel like they can play with Georgia. And right now, even though the score is 28-14, if you're UAB, you gotta kind of sort of feel okay about this game. And if the UAB scores again at the beginning of the second half, then okay, this may turn out to be a little more disconcerting for Georgia than maybe we'd like on a Saturday night. We just want a relaxing Saturday night watching Georgia blow out an opponent, and I don't know. That's what we want, but we'll see. Again, the statistics here for Georgia, not really bad offensively. 322 yards for Georgia. Total offense. Carson Beck, hey, it's a good first half. I mean, 18 of 26, 264 yards, 2 touchdowns. Dejan is back in the backfield. He's had 36 yards rushing. Brock Bowers, another stellar All-American type game with 97 yards and for Brock Bowers in receiving yards. So, all right. Well, we're going to go get us some popcorn and some Coca-Cola and settle in and watch the second half. We'll be back with you at the end of the game to get your comments. So here at halftime, Georgia leading UAB 28-14. Join us at halftime. And hey, got dogs. Let's wake up and go get them.